The day after I gave birth, everyone denied it ever happened. The hospital said I had no delivery record. What baby? My husband said he was unmarried, that it was impossible for me to be pregnant with his child. Even my parents cried and begged me, Audrey, you were never pregnant. Please stop this. I called the media, forced my way into the neonatal unit to find my son, and was dragged away like a lunatic. They sent me to a psychiatric hospital. The last time I tried to escape, I died under the wheels of a truck. When I opened my eyes again, I was back. Today was my due date. A sharp pain ripped through my abdomen. My water broke. I was in labor again. I gasped for air. The familiar ache in my belly, the familiar, heavy pressure. Audrey, what's wrong? Mark's face was a mask of worry. I looked up at him. That was the face that had, in my last life, used the gentlest voice to invalidate my entire existence. It hurts. The baby I managed to choke out. It's time? Oh my god. Mark leapt to his feet, fumbling to help me up. Come on, we have to get to the hospital. The hospital? Yes, we had to go to the hospital. The last time, the hospital was where I lost everything. Wait, I couldn't just walk in unprepared like before. My ID. And yours I pointed toward the bedroom. There's no time for that, we need to go. Mark was genuinely panicked, sweat beading on his forehead. No, they'll get them. I forced myself up and pulled our marriage certificate from the back of the drawer. Mark Peterson and Audrey Thorne. Our names printed in black and white. I glanced at the wedding photos on the wall. Every single one was real. The contractions came again, stronger this time. I lay in the back seat while Mark drove. At a red light, he called my parents. Mom, Dad, Audrey S. in labor. Yeah, we're on our way to the hospital now. I pictured my parents' faces. Their love for me had always felt real too. So why had they also told me I was never pregnant? Between waves of pain, I shakily pulled out my phone. I snapped a picture of the street sign outside the window and a candid shot of Mark's anxious profile. Finally, I aimed the camera down and took a close minus up of my swollen belly. Mark noticed. What are you doing? Documenting an important moment, I forced a weak smile and uploaded the photos to my cloud storage. These images, time minus stamped in G-Digit, had to be undeniable. Finally, we reached the hospital. I was rushed to a delivery room, and a nurse checked me. Yuri fully dilated. Let's go. Everything was happening exactly as I remembered. But this time, through the blinding pain, my mind was crystal clear. What? With a sharp cry, my child was born. The midwife held up the tiny, red body, bringing him close to my face. Look, a beautiful baby boy. Tears streamed down my face. As I reached out to touch my son, I used the last of my strength to pluck a few strands of hair from his head. The baby wailed in pain. My heart ached, but I had to have proof, as they tried to tell me I never had a child, or that this child wasn't mine. I would have his DNA. The midwife was already cutting the cord, weighing him and swaddling him in a blanket. They moved me to a private room. I was so exhausted I closed my eyes just for a moment. When I woke up, the first thing I did was reach for the bassinet beside my bed. It was empty. The space where my son should have been was vacant. I slammed the call button. A young nurse hurried in. Yuri, awake. How are you feeling? Is the incision painful? My baby? I demanded. Where is my baby? The nurse's smile faltered. A flicker of confusion crossed her face. Baby? What baby? The baby I just delivered. My son. I had him last night. My voice rose with panic. The nurse walked to the foot of my bed, glanced at the chart hanging there, then looked down at her clipboard frowning. Mom, are you sure you're not mistaken? This room was on standby yesterday. You were admitted for observation late last night. The chart says you came in for acute abdominal pain. The diagnosis is still pending. BOOM. My world tilted. That's impossible. I grabbed her sleeve. I had a baby. How can he be gone? Where is my husband, Mark? America. He was supposed to stay with me, but he was gone too. The nurse, startled, tried to pull away. Mom, please calm down. There is no record of a newborn. You were admitted alone. There are no family members on your record. You're lying, I screamed. The tearing pain between my legs flared up with a sudden movement. At your supervisor. Check the security footage. My shouting brought more people. The head nurse rushed in, her words a soothing but empty echo of the first nurse's. No delivery record. No baby. Mark, he'll call my husband. My hands trembled as I found his number. The phone rang for a long time before he answered, his voice thick with sleep. Hello?